there. I hope you're doing great today. We are going to be working on Psalm number 85 today. We're going to be working on forgiveness, which is not a chore, it's a great joy, because we're getting rid of stuff that's standing in the way of our own happiness, our own success, right? So we're getting rid of stuff that we don't want. So when you forgive another, what you are doing in effect is you are releasing your own stranglehold on your need to hang on to your own problems. So a lot of times we use other people as an excuse to not move forward with our own successes in life. And we don't want to do that. So when you forgive another people, you're not condoning their behavior. And you're not doing it for their benefit even necessarily. You're doing it in order to be free. And to forgive another does not also necessarily mean that you need to ever have physical contact with them in this life. If you oftentimes you will have a nice reconciliation, and that's wonderful. But like we've said, there are many times when you encounter individuals that are just really bad news and that you should have absolutely no contact with. And we're not saying that you should, be unsafe and go back with some kind of abusive person or murderous person or malignant narcissist or something like that. But we are saying that you don't carry that the hatred for them in your heart. So that's why we are going to be working on Psalm 85 today, which is a multi-purpose psalm. It has all kinds of good uses. We've made a talisman of Ariel, Venus, and you can go and see how we did that if you want to make your own. This is not necessary for psalm magic, but they do work well together. We're going to start out with a little reading. We're going to just do a tarot spread just to get us a little bit more clear on what we're doing today. We're going to do 7 shuffles since it's the day of Ariel. So 3 more. And we're asking to be clear on this operation that we are working today with this psalm for forgiveness. And this is going to apply, believe it or not, to each and every one of us. I know that doesn't seem possible, but it's true. Past, present, and future in the whether you're viewing it now or you're viewing it later. Okay, so I always do 2 very clean cuts into 3 piles, which isn't necessary since I only use the top 3 cards, but it's just my habit. It's my tradition. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. I don't know if you can see those. All right, so we've got this 8 of wands in the back, and that we're coming out of, which is a lot of hard work and a lot of mental work, a lot of there's been a lot of need to try to work things out and to make things get things balanced, that has resulted in whatever is going on right now, which is this bolt of lightning from above, which is actually Ariel, demolishing this structure, which is a good thing, because whatever this is that's here needs to be taken away. So this forgiveness that we are encountering right now is absolutely necessary, because we want this this bolt of lightning to remove all of this. And it can seem violent if you're hanging on to the old structure. But if you're not hanging on to the old structure and you make sure to tell people to get out of the building, like these people weren't warned. But think of these as old thoughts, not as people. But say you had this old hotel and it was just dilapidated and you wanted to build a new hotel. When they demolish that old hotel, it's not a bad thing. In fact, when you're in Vegas and they do those implosions, people cheer. So we want to cheer this. And where we're moving is this King of Coins. And again, this is not a person for us. This is an aspect of our own self. this is going to result, getting rid of whatever we're getting rid of through this forgiveness process will result in great success. Great success. And this is actually financial success, but it's also any kind of, it's tangible success. It's not just like, yeah, I feel better, and yeah, it's a good thing to forgive people, and I'm a nice person. It's not that. It's when you get rid of this, whatever this is that you've been hanging on to, and I invite you to be very clear and have a very specific person in mind that you are forgiving, the one that's the biggest problem for you right now, that when you forgive this person today, which you will do, you are going to have a huge movement, major movement into physical success, absolute wealth. Now, wealth can mean a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean money, but it's tangible. All right? It's not theoretical. I'm not going to go any further with this because I don't want to spend too much time. But once again, the tarot never lies. The cards never lie. They always will tell us what we need to know. All right. So Psalm 85. As we do, we always read through it once as an incantation and then once as a magical exercise to find the seeds of magic for our specific purpose that will be deposited into the depths of our consciousness and bear fruits, tangible fruits. Okay, here we go. Psalm 85. Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sin, Selah. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast named thyself from the fierceness. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw out thine anger to all generations? Wilt thou not retrieve us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints, but let them not turn again to folly. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from the heavens. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Righteousness shall go before him, and shall set us in the way of his steps. All right. Again, we always start out with, these Psalms almost always start out directly talking to Lord or God. Who is the Lord? You know who this is. The Lord is within you, and the Lord is the principle of life itself. So it's that which is beating your heart. It is not a God of a specific religion. These are not religious psalms for us. These are magical psalms. They transcend all religions. So the Lord that we're talking about is the principle of life itself. And we urge you every time you are thinking about God or the Lord in these psalms to expand within your mind and come up with ideas of the principles that encompasses: infinite intelligence, and in our case, infinite love and infinite forgiveness. Thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Okay, thy land, his land, God's land is all of, again, we're taking these things personally. So these things are for us. So the land is our life, all our life. The land is specifically is the land of Malkuth, or the manifest reality in our life. So God has been favorable into his land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Okay, so Jacob was held captive, and he came back. And so Jacob is our own self, our own ability to praise. And when we are being unforgiving, we have put our ability to praise, we put Jacob into captivity. So God has brought Jacob out of captivity, and so now we recognize that we can't truly praise God while we are condemning our brother or sister. So what we remind ourselves is that when we forgive, we are actually bringing ourselves out of captivity. God is bringing us out of captivity, it says here. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people, thou hast covered all their sin. So God's already forgiven you, and therefore God has already forgiven whoever it is that you are holding this grievance against. So it's only you, not God, that's holding this grievance, no matter what they've done. No matter what they've done, it's not up to you to judge and punish them. And in your judging and punishing them in your mind, all you're doing is bringing that judgment and punishment upon yourself. So it's time to get rid of that. Thou hast taken away all thy wrath. Thou hast turned thyself from the fierceness of thine anger. So God never is wrathful or angry, but it can appear as though God is wrathful and angry. But in this particular case, it's saying God's already taken the wrath and anger away. There is none of that going on. So what business is it of ours to do such things? If God's not doing it, why would we do it? Turn us, O God of our salvation, and cause thine anger toward us to cease. Okay, so if you're feeling God's anger toward you when God's already taken his anger away, that means that your own unforgiveness is what you're feeling, and then you're projecting it onto God. It seems like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? It's happening to me because you refuse to give up your judgment. You refuse to give up your grievance. And to the degree that you refuse to give up your grievance, to that degree it seems as though there is wrath and anger being projected onto you. Wilt thou be angry with us forever? Wilt thou draw thine anger to all generations? Well, that's a question you can answer for yourself. Will you be angry forever? Will you judge that person forever? Will you hate them forever? Well, there is your answer. Wilt thou not revive us again, that thy people may rejoice in thee? Well, people will rejoice in God only when they can rejoice in their brother and sister. And they can't rejoice in their brother and or sister if they are condemning them. Even if what they did in the physical world, even if they killed somebody, even if it was just a major atrocities, it's not up to you to condemn them. Yes, you condemn the behavior. Yes, you can say we can't do this. Yes, you put them in prison. Yes, you can do whatever you need to do within the realm of the physical universe to allow for safety of the physical body. Absolutely, there is law and order. Yes, like I said, you don't have to have lunch with these people. But in your heart, if you are condemning them, you are condemning yourself. Okay, show us thy mercy, O Lord, and grant us thy salvation. Again, mercy will be granted to you when you grant mercy. I will hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace unto his people and to his saints, but let them not turn again to folly. That's speaking to you. So you're hearing what God's speaking to you. He's speaking peace unto his people. His people are all the people inside your head. And to his saints, and the saints are the most exalted thoughts inside your head. But let them not turn again to folly, meaning just stop condemning people, and then you won't have it. And then this won't be happening to you anymore. Surely his salvation is nigh them that fear him, that glory may dwell in our land. Okay, so surely his salvation is near to all of them that respect him. And that glory, remember, glory is that which glows. That is the main, that is huge amounts of spiritual power will dwell in your life. So that glory dwelling in your life is what's supposed to happen, and that you will obtain that experience when you allow God's salvation to come near you by respecting him, and the way you respect him is by respecting his children. Again, respecting them in your heart, not based on what they do, but based on who they are. God has unconditional love for people. all people, all of his children, in the same way that air has unconditional love for all lungs. Oxygen has unconditional love for every lung. Gravity has unconditional love for every foot, right? For every object. And God has unconditional love for all children, and that is the same kind of love that we must have in our hearts if we are to know God. All right? Mercy and truth are met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. This is very important. You can memorize this anytime you're having trouble with people. Mercy and truth are met together. Mercy and truth. So if you want to know truth, you must know mercy. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other. If you want to have righteousness, you must have peace. And if you want to have peace, you must have righteousness. Righteousness simply means right thinking, right acting, the right way of being, which is really just being who you truly are at your core. All of these hate-filled thoughts that we have towards other people are really ultimately unnatural. And this is an important thing to remember too, that it's not just the big things that are important. Sometimes the big things are easier to forgive. It's the little things too. There's really no differentiation in the mind of God. Do you hate him a little or do you hate him a lot? It's like, are you a little pregnant or are you a lot pregnant? I mean, it doesn't matter. Every single bit of grievance is equally disturbing to your peace. So peace is your goal. Peace and righteousness, mercy and truth. That's what we're after. And you can obtain them just by claiming them. Truth shall spring out of the earth, and righteousness shall look down from heaven. So truth is going to call forth right from your life. Everything in your life is going to reflect the truth of God. What are the truths of God? Prosperity, joy, peace, beauty, luxury, refinement. All of those gorgeous things that we all say we want, well, that's truth. Those all come from God. They're going to just spontaneously spring forth from your life. And righteousness will look down on you from heaven. That means that you will be guided to do everything that is right. You will be guided from on high, from your higher self. So that's what's going to happen when you forgive. Those are the joys. Those are the gifts that are waiting for you when you forgive. Yea, the Lord shall give that which is good, and our land shall yield her increase. Wonderful, right? So when you forgive, this is what's waiting for you, is your land, meaning your life, will give increase. That means that you won't be able to stop all the good that will come rushing forth to you. That's because you've been holding it at bay with these grievances. So get going on your forgiveness if you want good things in your life. Righteousness shall go before him and shall set us in the way of his steps. If you want to know how to make sure that you're doing the right thing and you're on the right path, the first way to do that is to forgive. Find out who you're holding grievances, find out who they are, make a list of them, and work this psalm, work this magic, work it every day. You can do it, and we're going into the waning moon. It's okay. Like I say, you don't have to worry about the waning and waxing moon when you do psalm magic every day, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't. So take this whole waning moon. You can take this psalm and work it every single day on these people. That is probably your biggest and most profitable work right now, is if you can forgive somebody for an entire lunar waning moon cycle on this psalm and really mean it. You will probably not have to work so hard at a lot of the other things that you're wanting to bring into your life, because it's just going to happen spontaneously. That's the promise of that psalm. And a promise just means that, okay, a biblical promise it's the promise of gravity, that if you drop something, it will fall to the floor. It's the promise of oxygen, that if you inhale, it will nourish your lungs, okay? So a promise in the Bible doesn't mean, I promise you, like the promise will be broken. A promise, a divine promise in the Bible simply means a law. So if you want to get into those promises, it's saying that there's a law that if you forgive, you will have what you want. Test it. See if we're not right. Test it. Don't believe anything. Put it to the test. Give yourself a good amount of forgiveness. And you can do other magic. You don't have to only do forgiveness magic, but work on that every day. Work on this forgiveness magic every day and see if you don't see a major shift in all the stuff that you've been trying to work on. Work on all those people that don't deserve your forgiveness. Those are the ones that are the most important right now. Make sure that you understand all of these truths and you find your own truths. I just uncovered a few little seeds. There's a bajillion of them in there, and every time you work a psalm, you're going to find a bunch of new seeds. There's an infinite amount of good that comes from this book. All right, I hope that this was helpful to you. I really love working with you, and I'm so glad to be back. So glad to be back working with everybody. And there's so much more to do, and I'm going to get through all these psalms, all 150. They're all going to get online, and we're going to do all kinds of more talismanic magic. And there's just more and more and more. There's Kabbalah. You have no idea how much stuff I want to get going on. So I'm really excited. Talk to you soon. Love you. Blessed be.